Welcome to Hammer and Steel Reviews. Today we are looking at the Cold Steel Competition Cutter. Hey, I gotta jump in here real quick. The sound quality on those cut tests were just bad. The microphone wasn't set up correctly and the batteries died. Two bad things that happened during the fun cuts. So I'm gonna kind of talk over it a little bit. So this is going to be the talking portion over the cutting portion. So there's gonna be some cool cuts in here, but I also want to do a quick comparison. So this first cut I have ever done with this sword was quite awesome. I really enjoyed the cut. It was clean, it was kind of effortless, and it kind of got me a little bit hooked. I really want to do some more cutting because of this. The subsequent cuts really showed my inabilities and where I'm lacking. Check them out real quick. They're embarrassing. Yeah. That's a try. Yeah. Don't look at that one either. Strike that one from your memory. Anyway, we bring on some other people to cut, a lot of our cut friend family. So we'll let you just go through them a little bit, and I won't do too much talking through this part. Let's just watch some of the cool cuts. Beat in it. Yeah! Woo! Something really interesting about this is you can see the bending of the blade, and as you can see, if you look closely at the video, you can actually see the blade enter the skull and like scoop down, and the bending causing it to like take this weird scoop out. But this is definitely meant for cutting, directly cutting. These skulls might have been too much for this sword to handle. Now, this Arbedo style, there's a couple companies that have this Arbedo style, the Alexandria swords, that kind of stuff. They're all kind of in the same typology. What I have today is the sword that we cut with, the cold steel sword, but I also have a windlass Arbedo. And many people I've seen online say that they have the same blade and they're basically the same make. There are some differences, of course, and I wanted to kind of look at that. So this is the one we cut with. It has a really nice finish to it. I really liked the sword. Some things to bear in mind is it's not meant to hit something really hard. Skadagrim looks at, excuse me, Ska looks at one of these Arbedo styles and it takes a big chip out of it. It's actually an Albion. It takes a big chip out of it. Of course, his tests are a lot more abusive than the ones we did, but it is not meant to be a tree chopper. It's meant for a people. So that being said, it is more like putting a razor blade on a handle. That's the intention, at least. Now, in comparing the two, there's a lot of similarities. So let's get that around that way. So there's a lot of similarities. The cross trees are basically the same. The guard and the chape on the scabbard, they're pretty much the same, except the cold steel one has some really nice engraving and some filigree on the chape and collar. It's really cool. Another thing is the blade, the handle is much more extended and the pommel is different. And it looks like the cold steel one actually has been screwed on. It looks like it has a not a peen that doesn't look peened. On the other hand, the windlass Arbeto is peened. So this is much more of a hand and a half, and this is much more of a, well, hand and a half with two-handed capabilities. Take a look at the blades. So all intents and purposes, those blades are almost exactly the same size. Now, an interesting thing about the windlass one is it doesn't come sharpened, and the cold steel one is sharpened. Something I did also notice is the finish on the cold steel one is a little better than the windlass, and the price point is different. They're almost $150 difference in the two. Let me set these scabbards down. So you have basically a sword that is identical, but has a lot more nicer features when it comes to finish in the blade. The actual edge of the blade is nicer. The handle is feel like the same leather, but they are definitely sewn together a little bit differently. This is a little nicer than this one. I do like that this one is peened, but I also am interested about this one and its screw-on pommel thing. How there's a nut in the bottom. I really like these swords. They were fun to learn how to cut. I have cut with this windlass Arbeto before in another video, and it worked really well. I want to do a full video on this one just by itself. But the cold steel one did not have a single issue with all the tatami mats and the tough skull, and it even hit the wooden centerpiece of the skull. There's a wooden piece that goes up into the head, and it went into it, and there isn't a single glinting. There isn't a single blade deformation. There's nothing on this blade that shows that it took damage. I'm not even sure if it got blunt at all. It doesn't feel like it had any blunting or anything, which was really surprising. Makes me want to get out some harder targets, but at the same time, we're not professional cutters by any stretch of the means. He's a little bit better with the cutting, that's fine by me. And he was able to use this fairly easily with a comfortable cut and make some pretty nice cuts. Something I also like about this sword is its center of gravity. It is pretty close to that guard. So we're like an inch and a half away. And so that makes it really maneuverable. It has got a really quick snap to it. And it's quite nice. It's quite nice to manipulate and put where I want. Now, if you want to pick up this sword, you can head over to weaponmasters.com and use our promo code HandsViewer2022. Use that code to get you a 10% discount. So if you like what you saw today, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, follow us on Facebook, follow us everywhere else. And as always, may all your days be filled with history.